Hi everyone, welcome all and thanks for joining us today to this webinar. The topic today is 5 ways to smash barriers to user adoption. My name is Gonzalo Marcos and for the next 45-50 minutes I'll be guiding you through the steps of successful SharePoint user adoption in your organization. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Gonzalo Marcos. This is what I look like. Don't worry about the picture. I'm not any of the runners in front of both. Technical solutions professional here at AvePoint. Got more than 6 years of experience in IT, in particular in SharePoint projects and in SharePoint infrastructure, working in several roles like SharePoint IT administrator, SharePoint consultants, and since last year working at AvePoint London, where as TSP I go through pre-sales activities, helping new customers to understand AvePoint technology, and I also go through post-sales activity, guiding existing customers and partners to get better results from their SharePoint platforms with AvePoint products. As I mentioned before, today we are going to talk about SharePoint user adoption. So whether you are thinking of building a new SharePoint platform or whether you already have your platform up and running, I'm sure that all of us want our SharePoint platform to make collaboration across our company easier and confident. For that purpose, we need that SharePoint in our organization ensures compliance so that every piece of content is in the right place and our most confidential information is secure. We need as well that SharePoint manages our resources, both personal and technical resources, in a way that optimizing the performance of our SharePoint platform will lead to an overall better performance of our business activities. And last but not least, none of these goals will be achieved if we don't engage our end users. We need to make our SharePoint as sexy and useful as we can in order to encourage our end users to collaborate in the platform. For that reason, today we are going to learn 5 ways to encourage our users, our end users, to use SharePoint as the main collaboration tool. And we will see how AvePoint products can help us to face the challenges in this adoption process. We will talk about concepts like information architecture, why it's important to have a good definition from the very beginning, and most of all, how to maintain and have up-to-date this information architecture as our organization is changing and growing. We will see as well that successful SharePoint deployments host not only content but also processes of our organization. And we will learn how to easily bring these processes to SharePoint, aligning them to the most recent productivity tools for collaboration. And finally, we will learn how to measure how great we are doing in this adoption process, how successful our SharePoint platform is among our end users, so that with all this information, we can optimize the usage and performance of our collaboration platform. I will go through each of these points in this webinar, and right afterwards, I'll show you a quick demo of some DocApp solutions of this webinar. So let's go for it. The first challenge we have to face building a SharePoint platform, apart from the infrastructure deployment, is the information architecture. That is the way all our content will be structured. A well-designed information architecture is critical in our platform. We need to make our SharePoint become the first place to find the documents and information our users are looking for. Therefore, it's important to understand the needs of every existing group of users or departments in our organization, so that site collection, sites, and the location of every type of content mirror the company organization. It's also important to define a proper taxonomy with the corresponding metadata terms, content types, custom columns, because it will help our users to understand the different types of information in our company. On the other hand, a proper information architecture requires definition and maintenance. Our company will be continuously changing, it will be continuously growing, so we will have to be our SharePoint structure to be changing and to be matching these changes in the business. So be aware that if our end users cannot find the information they are looking for quickly and easily in SharePoint, they will look for it in shared folders, or they will look for it in emails, personal notes, wherever they can. And they will not trust SharePoint as the main collaboration platform. So how can AvePoint help us at this stage? At this stage, we have a couple of solutions in Docath that really can help us. They are Docath Content Manager and Docath Deployment Manager. The first one, Content Manager, is one of the administration solutions in Docath that will be very useful for restructuring the content in our platform. Why do we need to restructure content? Because our SharePoint platform has to be a system that really works. And for doing so, our SharePoint architecture will have to be matching any organizational change. So for instance, our organization will be creating new business units, new departments, or will be merging the existing ones. Or maybe we will need to publish information from our SharePoint intranet to the extranet or to the public website. And for that purpose, a content manager will allow us to copy sites, libraries, lists within the same farm or across different farms. Also as well, our organization will be changing the sites collection, the site location, or changing the URLs. Or we might be in the situation of defining a unique language for your entire platform and need to change sites and URLs to that language. In that situation, Content Manager will help us to move content, again, within the same farm or across different farms. We might be also in the situation of moving to the cloud, to Office 365. Here, Content Manager will allow us to migrate entire site collections, but also libraries, sites, or elements from our SharePoint premises to SharePoint Online. And finally, as a result of continuous evolution on different usage of our SharePoint platform, we will be in situations in which we need to restructure our information architecture. And with Content Manager, operations like promotion or demotion will be easily done. When, for instance, we need to promote a site to a site collection because that site has grown big enough to have its own entity, its own content database. Or on the other hand, there might be site collections used so less often that it's better to demote them to sites, for example. In summary, whatever our requirements are, Content Manager will help us to move content in any way with full metadata fidelity, whether we move massive content or whether we need to be granular in the way we move this content. And we will be able to do it in three different scenarios. We will be able to move content across sites in the cloud. We will be able to move content between SharePoint and premises farms, but also we will be able to manage hybrid SharePoint environments. So, for example, we will be able to move content between our SharePoint on premises to our SharePoint Online. The second Docker solution that we can use at this stage is Deployment Manager. Restructuring and updating our information architecture requires not only to move content across, but also to make changes in configuration, to make changes in branding and custom solutions. And as a good practice, most companies deploy additional SharePoint farms to the production one for development or testing purposes. And as you probably all are aware, we have to be very careful every time we change anything in any SharePoint configurations. Because little changes in our SharePoint farm could make our SharePoint completely unavailable. And this is why we need to test as much as we can these changes. These testing processes, it's really important to make sure that the test, development and production environments are as much similar as possible, because this will guarantee the success of the final deployment in our production farm. For that purpose, Deployment Manager will help us to manage all these changes in deployments. Deployment Manager will automate the deployment of any customization in our production farm. Custom columns, content types, design elements like master pages, CSS, metadata terms. And in this way, we will reduce the cost of maintaining all scenarios manually. Deployment Manager will help us also to identify any difference between our SharePoint farms, which will mean to get stability to our system. The less differences there are between our farms, the more stability we will get. So automating and doing these changes and processes always the same way will allow us to reduce the human error, which means to reduce the risk we can have when deploying and installing any new components in our SharePoint production environment. So once our information architecture is defined, our job is not finished at all. SharePoint will host all the content, and our next challenge will be to understand the relevance of this information in order to make the most critical or useful content as accessible as we can, and also in order to reallocate the old content in our information architecture. As content continues to be generated, older content such as sites for completed projects or expired campaigns bog down collaboration platforms while adding little value to current endeavors. Over time, our platform will become difficult to navigate, costing valuable time when trying to find the right information. And moreover, the excess of information or content could be a problem to find the most relevant information in our collaboration platform. So, how can we make sure that our information is up to date and that all content will not stop us in finding the right information? We have a tool for that in TOCAF, and it's called TOCAF Archiver. TOCAF Archiver for SharePoint automates content preservation, retention, and deletion to comply with your records and content lifecycle management policies, resulting in improved SQL performance and reduction of SharePoint 2013 and 2010 storage costs. The way it works is very easy. TOCAF Archiver will leverage customizable business-aware archiving rules to move end-of-life content out of valuable SQL Server storage resources to lower-cost hierarchical storage media, which is, depending on the amount of content you might have, really important. Regarding archived data, even though it will be typically pulled out of SharePoint, it can be searched and restored at any time in the future to return the content directly to SharePoint or in response to litigation requests. At this point, we need to realize that as a platform collaboration, Microsoft SharePoint is unique because it presents organizations and individuals with an infinite amount of content and data availability to use for collaborations. But on the other hand, it also presents organizations and IT administrators with the unique challenge of managing exponentially growing amounts of content and data in compliance with records and content lifecycle management policies. The problem then is that as SharePoint data volumes increase, relatively expensive SQL Server resources can easily become overburdened with a great amount of unused data. It will be useful data, but it will be unused data. However, with TOCAF Archiver, we can offload fixed end-of-life content from SharePoint's SQL Server databases to hierarchical storage media based on fully customizable business rules, alleviating the SharePoint storage costs and improving platform performance for end users. So by maintaining immutable read-only copies of archived content, TOCAF Archiver enables consistent automatic disposition of SharePoint records in accordance with established policies. This way, with comprehensive archiving capabilities, organizations use TOCAF Archiver to enhance compliance with records management policies by maintaining immutable read-only copies of archived content and enabling consistent automatic preservation, retention, and deletion of SharePoint records. For instance, TOCAF Archiver retires site collections, sites, lists, libraries, or individual folders, items, and document versions, including metadata, workflow state, and permissions. From my experience, I would say TOCAF Archiver is unique from other solutions because it allows SharePoint administrators to retire contents in real time or on a schedule based on built-in or customizable properties, including content types or including the owner or the last modified date and time. Also could be the workflow state, or could be the custom metadata fields, which is, in my opinion, really powerful. So, as you can see, there is a way to maintain all the information in SharePoint, even though it can be massive. The only thing we need to do is to identify which part of our content is more useful or most accessed from our end users. Okay, so now that it's clear that part of success adopting SharePoint in our organization is related to the information architecture, what is the next step? The next step, the next challenge will be to bring not only the content to SharePoint, but to bring to SharePoint also the processes and the procedures in our company. One way or another, every organization defines the business activity around processes and policies. For instance, technical proposals have to be validated by technical departments, or batches and quotas have to be approved by managers. Also as well, projects might be delivered by project teams with a specific type of documents, or probably every team of or every type of project will have their own site structure. So just consider, on the other hand, that part of our platform will be public, whereas other parts will be confidential. And last example could be that part of our platform will have to agree legal policies, so deletion prevention or archiving policies should be in place in our organization. At this point, it's important to understand that end users know their business, not SharePoint, nor your governance plans. Our end users' concerns are not templates, taxonomies, or workflows. They just know how your business and processes should be. It's keep in mind that each our governance plan, the one which has to match our company, and not the other way around. And the way to do it, at least the way here from AFPOINT we understand governance, is to provide SharePoint as a service to your end users with our Docker governance automation solution. With governance automation, we can easily provide frequently used SharePoint services as managed services that can be easily requested based on business purposes in place of high risks and structured processes. With these managed services, there is no need for end users to learn about approved templates, content types, metadata, and workflows. We just simply need to determine the requirements of each business unit and pre-configure consumable services that comply with corporate and IT governance. This way, providing SharePoint as a service, most frequent requests from our IT department will be standardized and automated. So for instance, we can automate the creation of site collections, or for example, for sure there will be changes in your security model. So requests for new permissions, clone permissions. This is something that governance automation can create a service for this type of requests. Regarding provisioning, we can automate as well the creation of project sites or department sites or any customized sites that you might have. And as we have seen before, to maintain fresh and up-to-date our SharePoint information architecture, we can automate and manage the content lifecycle with TOCAF governance automation, creating rules and policies to set when our sites should be declared as records, when they should be declared, when they should be archived, or when they should be deleted. And what is more important, using your business and your end user language, not SharePoint language. So the next step to our user adoption is to modernize our collaboration, the way we collaborate in our platform. Times are changing, and so are the way we communicate and collaborate in our company. And from my opinion, the main concepts that are, among others, changing our collaboration are mobility and productivity tools. As end users, for example, we are not using just a workstation in the office anymore. Now we use our laptops at home, our workstation at the office, and our mobile phones or tablets traveling or on our way back home. And in all these devices, we use collaboration and productivity tools like OneNote, like OneDrive, Dropbox, Link, Outlook, as the CRM plugins. As a result of all these, seems natural that our users want to collaborate from everywhere using all these features. And seems also obvious that this collaboration could be internal with our own work team and external with our customers and partners. And at this point, the challenge is to use our SharePoint platform to organize and coordinate the sometimes excess of information and redundancy of tools for our company. The solution for this challenge in AvePoint are two solutions, which are AvePoint Perimeter and AvePoint Meetings App. The first one, AvePoint Perimeter. This tool will turn our on-premises SharePoint investment into an enterprise file sync and share system by breaking down collaboration instructions. AvePoint Perimeter can extend the collaboration power of on-premises SharePoint beyond the walls of our organization, allowing our end users to share and to edit documents with external parties securely and without ever moving content out of SharePoint. This way, our end users will appreciate not having to waste time changing file share system, and for sure our SharePoint administrators will enjoy knowing exactly where content resides and what activity is going on around it. Also as well, AvePoint Perimeter has some mobility features, including remote access to SharePoint and multi-factor authentication using mobile devices. So this way, end users can work on their content when they want and where they want. Another thing that is changing in our collaboration platforms is the concept of meetings. Typically, meetings are scheduled in Outlook. Documents are included as attachments in the same email invite, and each of the attendees is taking personal notes. The challenge then is to add meetings as part of our SharePoint platform processes. The concept of meeting, understood as the set of information made up of attendees, notes, decisions, and documents, is something that we need to bring to our SharePoint. It's something that we have to bring to our collaboration platform. AvePoint Meetings app will help us to create a virtual space in SharePoint for our meetings. It will be a SharePoint location from where we will schedule a meeting, invite the attendees, and create agendas beforehand. It will also be the location from where we will upload documents and attachments to SharePoint. And this way, there will be a unique version for every attachment, and documents won't be managed in Outlook anymore. So it means that we will optimize, on the one hand, that we will optimize Exchange storage, and on the other, that we will encourage the collaboration in our SharePoint platform. Also as well, AvePoint Meetings app will also be the place from where we can take decisions and assign tasks in real time. Regarding personal notes, they won't be personal anymore. We will have the ability of sharing notes in real time with the OneNote integration. And finally, Meetings apps will be a good place to track the meetings history. Finally, the last step in our SharePoint user adoption, the last thing I wanted to show you is part of the success of our collaboration platform. It will be our ability to identify our strengths and our weaknesses. It's not enough to design, it's not enough to install and configure our SharePoint platform, no matter how well we did it. We need to measure that. We need to make sure that what we design is matching its original purpose. So we need to extract all the audit and usage data from our SharePoint platform. This way we will be able to change those things that are not working properly or that are not well understood by our end users, and to reinforce those things that are really helping our organization, these things that are really working in our SharePoint platform. This audit and usage information is extremely powerful in a business because it let us know the best way to use SharePoint in our company. Also because it helps us to identify which particular features of our collaboration platform our end users are not using properly, or don't understand, or simply don't like them because they don't consider them useful. And moreover, this information helps us to understand how end users are using the SharePoint platform, what our usage patterns are. Be aware that the user's feedback will be the key to understand what they need from SharePoint. And finally, this information is very important because it's also a way to show the business value of the collaboration platform. Okay, so how can we get that information? Where is that information? The good news is that all this information is already in SharePoint, so there's no need to install or to develop anything. The bad news is that it is only data, thousands and thousands of data that needs to be analyzed. And what we need is a tool to generate reports, something that takes all this data, analyze all this data based on our requirements, and transform this data into a report, into a proper information. And this is exactly what the DocApp Report Center does. Keep in mind that good decisions must be based on good information. So the difference between data and information will be our ability to analyze the audit and usage data and to create useful reports. And with DocApp Report Center, we will be able to identify usage patterns. So, for example, which are the most visited sites, who are the most active users, what are the most important content in our platform, which are the most downloaded documents, these kind of things. And with this info, we will be able to take right decisions regarding, for example, our backup and restore strategy. We will be able to know with these reports how granular we have to be in our backup and recovery solution. We will be able to define and to define better our RTO and our RPO in our backup and restore strategy. For example, with our DocApp reports, we could define the archiving policy. Remember that we have seen that the importance of keeping the relevance of our information. So with DocApp reports, we will be able to identify which are the most valuable sites, which are the most valuable information in our platform, but also we will be able to identify which are which is the content which is not accessed very often, and that will be a good candidate to archive this kind of content. Also as well, DocApp Report Center will be very useful to optimize our SharePoint platform. It will provide us storage trends, and it will tell us how is the content distributed among our users. So for example, we will be able to see who is the user who is taking the more space. And on the other hand, it will provide the reports in Report Center will provide how to check the health status of our platform with administration reports that will be comparing our SharePoint configuration to the Microsoft best practices. So, time for demo. I've got more or less 10 minutes, and what I'm going to do is to show you very briefly a couple of solutions that we've been talking about in this presentation. For those of you who have never seen DocApp, this is DocApp 6.5, and this is the infrastructure solutions platform that includes most of the solutions we were explaining in this webinar. From the technical perspective, DocApp is made up of two main components, DocApp Manager and DocApp Agents. DocApp Manager is the console you are seeing right now in my screen. It's a web application, so I can access from every web browser, from every laptop, PC, typing the corresponding URL and entering my credentials that can be local to the system or a credential from our authentication provider, like in my case, the Active Directory. The other component that we have in the platform is the DocApp Agents. And the DocApp Agents are the software that we will install on every SharePoint server in order to communicate to your SharePoint farm, to communicate your SharePoint farm to the DocApp platform. From the landing screen that we are seeing, what we will see is that we have plenty of solutions, and all of these solutions are grouped by different modules. So this way we've got the migration module, which all the solutions that we have for migrating from several legacy systems to SharePoint. We also have the data protection module with all the solutions for backup, restore, and high availability in SharePoint. In the administration module, for example, we can find the content manager and deployment manager solutions, which are two of the solutions that we were talking about in this webinar and that I'm going to show you in a few seconds. We also have the storage optimization module, in which we can find, apart from all the solutions that we can use to optimize the storage, the SQL storage in our SharePoint platform. We also find the archiver solution, which is, remember, the solution we have to make sure that our all content is not in the wrong place, and that we can archive to, for example, to another storage location. And finally, we have the report center, in which we have several types of reports as we've been speaking, to know how great we are doing in our SharePoint user adoption. Let's go to the administration module, and I will show you very briefly the differences between content manager and deployment manager. Remember that both solutions are really helpful for designing and maintaining our information architecture, but with different purposes. On the one hand, content manager will be focused on the content. So if I click on content manager and I select to move content online, what we will see is two panels. The one on the left, which is my content source, and the one on the right, which is my destination. The source will be the farm or the farms from where I'm going to move content, and the one on the right, the destination, will be the farm or the site collection or site where I will be moving the content across. The way it works is really simple. I just need to select the content I want to move, so I can select the entire web application and select the destination. But I can be also more granular, and I can decide, instead of moving the full web application, I can decide to move, for example, only a site collection, or for example, to move only a site, or a sub-site, or a sub-sub-site. We can also be more granular, and we can select to move a library, or we can also drill down to the item level. So I can just select a couple of objects, a couple of documents, or I can select the full library, or I can select the full subset. And then I have to select the destination, the site or subsite where I want to move this content. Okay. The last thing I wanted to show you about Content Manager is the ability to use promotion and demotion operations, which is something that we cannot do natively with SharePoint. If I want to do a promotion, for example, it means that, for example, I need to move this subset because it is growing a lot, and I need to move this site to a site collection to give it, for example, a dedicated content database. What I can do is to select the subsite and move it to a new site collection or to an existing one. And on the other hand, what I can do is to do a demotion. So imagine that this site collection is not accessed very often, and it doesn't have so much visitors that we were expecting. So we need to demote it to a subset. What I can do is to select the site collection and move it to a new subsite or to an existing one. Okay, this is a demotion. Okay. So remember, Content Manager, very useful tool for moving content within the same farm or across different farms. But as we were speaking, if our main concern is how to move configurations or brandings or customization, Deployment Manager will be our tool. So if I just jump to Deployment Manager, and select to deploy something online, what I can see is more or less the same two panels, but this time Deployment Manager will be focused on configurations and everything that is surrounding content. So this way, I will have the ability to select a WSP, any kind of farm solution, and move it to another farm. Or, for example, I will be able to move any document, any file that is in the web frontend, which is not in any database, and move it to another farm. So this way I can move, for example, any DLL, I can move any custom feature, or I can move any file, any document which is in the file system. I can also move, for example, content related to metadata. I can move metadata terms from one farm to the other. And regarding the content, as we can see in the left panel, I will be able to move content, but I will be able also to move custom templates. So if we are creating site templates or list templates, we can also select them to move across farms. And also, we will be able to move design elements. We can move master pages. We can move, for example, custom columns or custom content types. We can also move workflows. Okay. The last thing I wanted to show you about Deployment Manager is that that's something. It's really cool to have a solution to move configuration between different farms, but sometimes what we need is to identify what is missing between one farm and the other one. So for that purpose, we have the comparison option, in which basically what it does is to compare farms, to compare all the components in every farm. So for example, I can see that if I want to compare all the farm solutions from my alpha farm to my beta farm, I just need to select both of them, compare now, and what we will see is the differences between both farms. So, for example, we can see here that all these solutions were deployed in my source farm and are not deployed in my destination farm. And on the other hand, we can see that this solution is deployed in my destination farm, but it's missing in our, for example, in our development farm. What I can do is on the fly to select the solutions to be deployed right now to the destination farm, and I can also select to move these solutions back to the source farm. I did it with farm solutions, but we can do it with any other component. We can do it with metadata terms. We can do it with custom column, with content types, with any kind of site settings, and it's as I said, really useful. Okay, so this is the end of the demo. So if I hope this content has been useful for you. So if you have any question regarding the demo or regarding the slides, or how can AvePoint will help you with the tools that we have seen, let us know. And here are the details. So salesuk@avepoint.com, also talkav.com, or any of these social networks. Again, if you do have any questions at all, please reach out to us, and any questions at any point of time, we will be more than happy to help you. Thank you for listening today, and have a good day. Bye.